Hello, my name is Matthew Kamano Mwaora. I'm a farmer here in Mwea, based in Mwea National Irrigation Scheme. I've been doing farming for almost 25 years, and this is my story. My journey of rice growing started back when I was small, because my father was a rice farmer since the beginning of the Mwea National Irrigation Scheme. My father used to do 4 acres of rice farming, and he never used to get any difficulties in educating us, so he has been getting good earning from the rice farming. Nobody lacked school fees or was chased out of school because of lacking school fees. So, according to me, rice farming is a good venture. The reason why it's a good venture is because we have been getting good money for doing everything that is required of home, like educating children, doing our investment, like building our houses, good houses, and even buying some plots elsewhere for the family. Here in Mwea, we have got various varieties, but the varieties that are preferred by the farmers are now 3. We have the BW 96, which is a high yielder. It can produce up to 40 to 45 bags per 1 acre, a bag of 100 kilograms. Then we have the Bishori that is famous. Everybody knows Bishori, Basmati in other words. That is also, it has got a very good market. It goes very well in the market. And then we have a new variety that has come up. It's called Komboka. It's also high yielding. And the good side of it is that it is aromatic, just like Bishori, and it produces much more than Bishori. So some farmers are going for Komboka now, because at the end of the day, if you do your calculation well, you find that Komboka is giving you much than the Bishori. There before, we used to have a big challenge of growing rice, because we used to do transplanting randomly. So in an acre you could use over 30 kilograms of seed, because we used to plant as many as possible in one field. But in the year 2009, the MEAD, which is a research station, brought some people from KU who came with the idea of planting rice in rows, in lines. It's called SRI, system of rice intensification. So some of us embraced that system. Like me, I was the first person in Mwea to embrace this. And I found it to be very useful, because now when you transplant in line, now you don't fear, because you can use push weeder. And that one push weeder can do the weeding in only 4 days. So you only need to employ one person, pay him even 500 per day. That will come up to 2,000. Initially, we used to use almost about 15,000 doing the weeding, because there was no way you could use the push weeder. You could also not use any machine to do the weeding. But nowadays, there are many machines that can be used to do the weeding. On the issue of monocropping of rice, It has been also a small problem, although as we have been doing, we have been seen in the rice field, I don't think it is a very big problem, although because the fuels that were used by our fathers all those years, we still use them in producing rice and we still get yields. Sometimes we use the animal manure, and what we are doing now to try and help the soil so as not to get tired. Sometimes we do the crop rotation. Sometimes we grow green grams. Sometimes we grow soya beans. And the only big problem is when we grow those other crops, sometimes we get challenge of the market. If we can have market for soybeans and green grams, I think people can embrace to do the crop rotation in the rice field so as to help the farm not to get tired. Based on my experience of rice growing that I've done for over 20 years, what I would advise other farmers is to embrace system of rice intensification. They should embrace it because it really helps when we come to the kilogram of seeds that is going to be used in transplanting. It will only be 10 kilograms or less. But the conventional one, you use over 35 kilograms. So you save, let's say, over 25 kilograms that can be used in other ways of helping you. The other good of SRI is on the side of water. The SRI doesn't require much water, as we have been using much water previously, because you require to put water in only 3 days. After 3 days, you remove the water for other 10 or 15 days, and the rice is still intact because it is on the line. It's getting enough nutrient now that it is not that much. The other good thing of it is the production. When you use SRI, it increases the production by, let's say, 20 to 25% of what you usually get. So, and also the quality of the seed that comes when you use this SRI system is another good one. When you take your rice to the mill, it doesn't break. So the recovery is higher than the conventional rice. So it has got so many advantages. So I would ask my fellow farmers to embrace this system of SRI. It will help them. Someone who wants to get into rice farming, first of all, he has got to have a good land, and water is a requirement that is very necessary. You can't do rice farming without water, good much water. Because so you have got to be near a river, or maybe you have a borehole that has plenty of water, because we need flooding in the rice fields so that the rice can grow well. If you are a good farmer and you want to do an acre, there's a sum of money that you can use. If the rice field is yours, it can cost you up to 50,000 shillings. So as to do 1 acre. And then after that, your production should be able to give you up to 250,000. That is the original rice that you get plus the ratoon. So in a year, 1 acre can give you up to 250,000. A long time ago, when our father used to do the rice farming, there used to be what we call revolving fund. It was there with the National Irrigation Board. So the farmers didn't have problem in doing the farming. But right now, you've got to be a very good manager to be able to do the rice farming, because everything you buy. And as I said there before, it will cost you over 50,000 shillings. So if you don't have that kind of money, it will mean you are not able to produce as required. So I would ask the government to keep aside money again, what we call revolving fund, that can be used in supporting farmers, and also for the marketing, because what we need is a ready market for the rice, so as to be paid in time and go back to the shamba and do another production. I think if farmers can get very good market and at the right time, they can be able even to produce rice 3 or 4 times as they produce now. Going forward, my farming will help me to build my good future, so that when I grow old, I will be able to leave the work to my children, who I would want them to continue doing the growing as I have been doing, so as to sustain themselves and also to sustain me when I'm old.
So is there any interest that they've picked, or how is that coming along for you?
I have a son who is also interested, and he is the only son I have. So maybe when I'm not able to do it, like now we usually farm together. Yeah, so I'm sure I will leave it on the safe side. That was my story as a rice farmer. What is your farming story? Share it.